Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make a mincemeat crumb cake, or a Sbriciolata, which is an Italian crumb cake. It's basically a pastry really, but it's quite a risen pastry with a crumbly top, and there's a filling in the centre. And I did one a few weeks ago with apple, but I'm going to do one with mincemeat today because mincemeat is a festive or a Christmas type filling that we like here in the UK. Now, for those who don't know mincemeat, there's no meat in it. Let me stress that from the outset. Sort of in the 18th century and 19th century, there was meat in mincemeat, but these days it's simply dried fruits with spices and some fat. Usually suet is the fat, but you can use butter. So it's a lovely thing, and we like mince pies here in the UK, and I've got recipes for mince pies on my blog. I've also got a recipe for making mincemeat on my blog. I'm going to use shop-bought mincemeat today, but if you want to make this and you can't buy shop-bought mincemeat, you can easily make it from following that recipe. And there's a video on YouTube as well. So basically we make our crumble mixture and we put that into a 23cm 9-inch tart tin or cake tin, which has been floured and greased and lined on the bottom. We put half of that crumble mixture in, press it down to make a base, and with a little rim around the edge that's risen, we put our mincemeat on the top, and then we crumble over the remaining pastry and we bake it in the oven. And that's all there is to it really. So I go on to the ingredients, and for this I have 400 grams of plain flour, which is 2 cups plus 2/3 of a cup, based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. I have 120 grams, 8.5 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which is softened to at least room temperature. I have 2 medium eggs, which would be large in the USA, 150 grams, 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar or granulated sugar, 16 grams, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 grams, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. That's all the ingredients you need, but I also have here just a little bit of icing sugar, which you can use to dust over the top once your mincemeat crumb cake has cooled down and is ready to serve, but that's entirely optional. And so the first thing, I forgot to mention the mincemeat, and here I have 450 grams, which is 1 3/4 cups of mincemeat. And as I said, if you can't buy shop-bought mincemeat, I'll put a link below the video to my video of how to make your own mincemeat. So we need to go on to make our crumble mixture basically. And to make the crumble mixture, I'm going to put my sugar, my baking powder and my salt into the flour. I'm going to give those a good stir around to get those mixed together. And I'm going to use my hand mixer, but you can do this all by hand, and certainly the videos I've watched of Italians making Sbriciolata of various flavours, they always mix everything by hand. But I prefer not to get my hands too claggy from eggs and such like. So with that mixed together, I'm going to put my eggs in and my butter, and I'm going to mix that until it starts to clump together, so that I have some clumps and some finer mixture, and I can rub it between my fingers towards the end if I want to. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put that into the fridge and I'm going to cool it for 30 minutes. And as it cools, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And I'll put a baking tray in the oven to heat up as well, because I will stand my tart tin on the baking tray. So I'll come back when the oven is preheated and this has chilled for 30 minutes. So I have chilled my dough and my oven is preheating. So I'm actually going to put about half of that crumb mixture into my tart pan, and that should be about 400 grams. And then I'm going to spread that over the base and I'm going to press it down, and I'm going to press just a little bit up the sides as well to form a little bit of a ridge all the way around the edge basically. And the reason for that is that that will then hold my mincemeat inside the pastry. And you can press this as much as you want. I'm going to use the back of a spoon just to compact it a little bit more. And to level it off. And that's good like that. And then I'm going to put my mincemeat in. Now, I just want to say about the mincemeat that in the UK, most jars hold just about 410, 411 grams. So if that's what they do, just buy that and don't worry about the 450 grams. In fact, you can put as much or as little mincemeat in as you want basically. And with that in, I'm just going to spread that over the surface. And this is a great alternative to mince pies, because basically it's a mince pie. It has all the same flavours and the same texture really. It's just that you don't have to roll out the pastry and fill the individual pies. In fact, there's more mincemeat in this than you would get in a mince pie. And as you can see, I haven't gone right up to the edge. And the reason for that is that I want to press the crumble down around the edge. So I'm going to take the remaining crumble and sprinkle that over the top. And as you can see, there's some smaller pieces and some larger pieces. That's good. And with all the mixture in, I'm going to spread it over and I'm going to press down around the edge. And then I'm simply going to pat the surface like that, and I'm going to put that into the oven, and I'm going to bake it for 35 to 40 minutes, and it should bake well. The base should bake nicely, it should rise up, the top will bake nicely and begin to colour. Some of the juice from the mincemeat may bubble up and seep through a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. And then once it has baked and started to colour for 35 minutes to 40 minutes, I take it out of the oven, and I'm going to leave it to cool in the pan for at least 20 minutes before I transfer it. But you can leave it to cool completely in the pan and then transfer it to a wire rack. But once I have allowed it to cool and it is completely cool, I'll come back and show you the results and we'll have a taste. I baked my mincemeat crumb cake or crumble cake or Sbriciolata for 40 minutes, and it did rise as I said it would, and it browned or began to colour on the top. And after 40 minutes I took it out of the oven and I left it in the tin for about 45 minutes. Then I transferred it to a wire rack to cool completely, which it has just about done, and I've sprinkled a little bit of icing sugar over the top. So I'll show you what it looks like. And as you can see, I've cut a slice of it. So the base, as you can see, is fully cooked through. You've got the nice layer of the mincemeat and then the crumbly top as well. So I have my slice here, and I'll have a taste of it. Very, very good. The base is nice and tender. The mincemeat is wonderful, but I mean, the quality of the mincemeat depends on where you buy it or whether you make your own, but that is very, very good. Nice and sweet, and then that crumble on the top with just a little bit of crunch over the top surface. So this is a great alternative to mince pies. With mince pies, you make your pastry and roll it out, put it into bun tins or mince pie tins, fill that with some mincemeat, put more pastry on the top and then bake it. This is actually a much quicker way of doing that, and you could cut this. I mean, I've cut it, and I would get the size I've made, I would get at least 10 portions, but you could easily get 12 out, which is what you would get with mince pies in a mince pie tin. So this is going to be great to enjoy now, and I might actually make it again before Christmas so we can use it at Christmas as well. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, along with a link to the video for making mincemeat if you want to do that. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future, so until then, happy baking.